the perfect setting for this reunion. Are we in Seattle? Are we in Starling City? I don't know. But you are not here for me. You are here for the amazing people I'm about to introduce. So put your hands together for Stephen Amell, Colton Haynes, and Juliana Harkavy.
Hello.
Welcome. Take it in.
There's a lot of you guys here. Hello.
There is a lot, and they're all here for all of you. So, welcome, y'all. Let's get into it. Now, have y'all been to Emerald City Comic Con before?
Yeah.
Have you?
I don't think so.
I came here after shooting an episode of season 2 back in 2014.
Well, welcome.
I'm a first timer.
I think I am too.
Are you?
I just said yes, but yeah.
I like that. You lied on the first question. So here we are. The show has ended, and we are still here, still celebrating. You know, when you look back and you think about the things that, like, this is the thing I'm going to remember. This was the most amazing part of this experience. You know, what now is the thing that you look back and that is the fondest memories for y'all?
I mean, for me, it was towards the end where we would have big scenes where we were all together. I mean, when we started off the show, it would just be me alone and cold late at night, and then driving to Seattle the following morning to come see you guys. But then towards the end, you know, we would get to shoot these big scenes with Canary and Arsenal and Spartan and another Canary and you name it, right? So it got a lot more fun and a lot more inclusive towards the end.
I just miss, looking back, it felt like we were at summer camp every day.
Yeah.
And I think when you work that much, 23 episodes, it was 10 months a year, nonstop. These guys did it even longer than I did, but you get caught up in the fact that you're working, you love it, you're grateful, but when you look back, it's like, God, those were such sweet times, like such nostalgic times.
Yeah, sort of like, no, we had it good.
We had it real good.
Why'd we stop?
I don't think we should have.
I mean, at the rate things go now, it's like, we have a couple more years till the reboot? I mean, I feel like if Steven's just like, we should do more, they'll be like, okay.
Steven?
Let's get Heels a couple more seasons.
Yeah.
Let's get Heels a couple more seasons.
Thank
and
you.
Then,
I appreciate that.
I'm looking out for you.
Me and my family at Stars appreciate.
You don't want to just balance all of it?
No, hey, look, the key for anything is timing. But if what I went back to film on an episode of The Flash this year for their last year, and that was really fun. And that sort of showed me that I think that we ended at the right time. I think that, obviously things are ending on the CW, and that whole universe is wrapping up. But going back and shooting, it sort of showed me that I'm glad that the one chapter is over, but I anticipate doing more in the future at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. And, going back to the beginning, Arrow really started something that hadn't been seen before in television. When the show started, like you said, it was you in the dark. When the show ended, there was an entire connected Arrowverse on TV with interconnected stories and interconnected characters. What was it like when y'all went filming these crossover events with the other actors and stories?
I don't think I was in a crossover, but someone told me I was, because I know that I was in a scene with Carlos. His name is not Carlos in Flash, but whatever his character name is in Flash, I was in a scene with him. Cisco, yeah. So maybe I was in a crossover, but I don't think I was, so I don't know if I can speak to that. But I loved watching them.
I think the whole crossover experience feels like that. You don't know what show you're on. You don't know what trailer you're in. It's just like just right? Was that your experience as well?
Yeah, no, I showed up on crossover. Ken Shane, our first assistant director, would make me an old school calendar. You see, like, you know, in the beginning of Top Gun Maverick, when he's got like the Mach 9 tests, he's got, like, it's circled on the calendar. I have an old school calendar like that would show me where I was going, what I was doing, and what show I was on. And then even then, I would show up at some warehouse, and I'd be like, okay, what are we shooting? They're like, well, Oliver and Barry and da-da-da-da-da. They go and they do this, and I go, okay, all right, okay. No, but like, what show? Legends. Okay, all right, got it.
And you would have, what, 1 day off a week? Because you would shoot Friday night through to Saturday, and you did that for, what, 15 years? I mean, however long the show was on?
8 seasons in 15 years, yeah. No, it was good. Crossover season was always really taxing, but it was always really cool once you saw the finished product.
And I mean, speaking of taxing, you know, there's so much to laugh about as we chat, but this was a show that had very little humor comparatively. Like, it was dark. It was often at night. It was often very serious subjects and conversations, and it was heavy when we were talking. You know, how did you sort of protect yourself and keep things light when so much of the subject matter was sort of, how do we prevent the world from ending today? How do we prevent the city from being taken over today?
The only time on set that I wasn't a total goofball was when the camera was rolling. I mean, Jules will tell you, Colton will tell you, like, me and David Ramsey shouldn't be allowed to be in the same room with one another ever. Just so juvenile and stupid. And so the subject matter never crept into overall behavior. I can't speak to Juliana's experience or Colton's experience, because I know that some people, when they get into certain scenes, like to keep a certain mindset.
Oh, no.
No,
me.
okay, never mind.
No. Me? I mean, we couldn't even look at each other because we'd start laughing, especially David. We would look at each other and we would start laughing, but yeah.
Do you know how I stopped myself from laughing in scenes? Because the first couple of years, there were scenes where I could see the crew getting annoyed. I came up with a mantra to myself. Shit. I came up with a mantra that if I was laughing and I was delaying our day, that I was taking time away from my family. So I would sit there and say to myself out loud, quietly, "You are being a bad dad." It worked. This is true. Yeah, no.
I think you need to keep it light on set when you have a dark subject matter, because if you are just in it for 16 hours a day and you stay, I mean, some actors do it, you're right, Stephen, but oh my God, it's a lot. And it's just, and plus this group is so funny. They don't even mean to be, they're just so funny that it was really, really fun. Half the time you see a scene that's serious, 2 seconds before we were drying our tears from laughter.
I mean, look, there were actors on the set, like, for example, like Paul Blackthorne, depending on the subject matter, might be someone that you're being buddy-buddy with during the day or not. Right. Same for Katie Cassidy.
Manu.
Manu.
That was
as well.
He's amazing. We were like hanging out playing tennis during the day, and then we worked together for the first time, and I was like, who the hell is that? Like,
yeah.
It was pretty serious.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love sort of hearing, you know, when you talk about your characters, do you find that there's anything that you contributed or you brought to that character, and conversely, anything that you've taken away with you from your characters?
Working well with others is important, I guess. I don't know, I can't speak for you guys, but as we moved through, when Oliver started, that was a very, very different version than the type of person that I am. I'm much more easygoing, and I think. And but then as we moved through the seasons, and he became more acclimated, or like, for example, when we introduced that he has a child, you know, I'm just trying to be me, more or less. Just trying to bring more of me into the character. Just because it's easiest, right? Yeah.
I think when I showed up on set, I was so terrified And I was afraid to say anything. I was afraid to give my opinion, to speak my mind, or have my voice heard, which was so ironic because this entire character is based around her voice being heard and her power being her voice. So I don't know what I gave to her, maybe not much, but she gave me a lot of strength, a sense of like my own power. And it was quite a literal way of being told, like, just use your voice. And so I'm forever grateful. And I feel like to this day, now I was an adult when we were filming, but I feel like I was a child. So I want to say, like, in my adulthood now, after Arrow, I carry that with me, and just so grateful.
Are you an adult now?
I almost
I hadn't
hadn't noticed, huh? No, it's hard to know.
Like my hair. I brought my hair into the character, and I brought my hair out. That's so stupid. It's
You
not-
did bring your hair.
The gift that keeps on giving, Colton.
It's going away quickly, guys. Its days are numbered. Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah, I just had to, every time I try to dye my grays, my hair turns dark auburn. So I just had to bleach it myself from Sally Beauty, and then now it's dark auburn again. So anyway, we're not talking about hair, we're talking about Arrow.
There are people that can do it for you.
I went to the #1 hairstylist in the whole world, and it was dark auburn.
Go with the silver fox. It's a good look.
Very soon.
The hair knows what the hair wants.
That's right.
Stephen, you touched on sort of in the early seasons and Oliver's sort of, am I the lone wolf? Am I working with a team? How am I a leader of this team? And, you know, there's that tension often of him having trouble relinquishing control. It's very similar in Heels with, you know, the Duffy Wrestling group of like, do I let control of this storyline? Do I let others contribute to this organization? You know, what is it that draws you to characters like that? And, you know, what is it that draws audiences in as well?
I don't know what draws. I think that I don't. For me, I've just been very lucky to play both of the characters. For Jack on Heels, going into the second season, he realizes in the first season that he screws up, and I wanted to make sure that, as opposed to taking the next 7 seasons to realize that he had screwed up, he just admits it straight away at the beginning of the second season and starts to work better with other people. But when it comes to what audiences react to, I think that audiences just love looking at a character and going, stop being so stupid, right? Like, what are you doing? The solution is right in front of you. You have people that are trying to help you. Stop being stupid. And so if you're yelling at your TV, it's a good sign.
Fair. Colton, so often through the series, you know, your character is referenced and they're saying like what you're doing or wondering what you're doing, to the point where all of that could be pulled like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern style into like its own story, its own series and plot. You know, if we saw what you were doing off screen and had that own series, what would you want to see play out?
I mean, I'd not be a good hairdresser. I mean, it would have been cool to see, Roy has such a really extremely dark past, you know, with a lot of like the Outlaws kind of series and things like that. And, you know, we got to see a little bit of it with losing the arm at the end, but we didn't actually get to see that full arc. So, I mean, I could have like stayed on the show instead of had like, you know, a mental breakdown. But I mean, but still, we probably would have seen a lot more of that. Didn't happen. But yeah, I'm just happy that what happened with Roy is, yeah, at least he got to work with Thea, or see Thea again, and then now they're probably off honeymooning somewhere still. It's been what, a 4-year honeymoon, but I don't know. I hope they're still together.
Y'all
Yeah.
maybe got like the closest to a happy ending. Like,
Yeah. God, I have been on a rewatch watching it again, and it is, when you're filming a scene with someone, especially if it's like an intimate one, you don't necessarily always feel the chemistry when you're doing it. But Willa and I would laugh because we would watch it and be like, why did it wasn't like that when we were filming. We're like, no offense, but when we watched it, it actually was really, sweet. So that was always fun to do those scenes. So yeah.
In the same vein, Juliana, the last season aired during the pandemic, and so while we had sort of the taste of Green Arrow and the Canaries, we never got that full follow through. What would you have loved to see if the world hadn't changed and we could have gotten that series?
Yeah, it was so exciting because we were going to see a side of Dinah that we never really got to see, a dimension that we never got to see. And what was really cool was they were giving me a voice and what she was like, what does she do? So I said, well, I think she plays an instrument. So they wrote it into the pilot that I sang a song and played the piano. And they were just so open to it. So I often think that would have been really fun I think she gardened. And she sort of had she had a herb garden and she was zen and maybe she had a cat, all these little details that would have been so sweet to see on Arrow, but now they just live in our imagination. But yeah, for now, yeah.
We're promising a lot. We've got a lot of promised upcoming series that we're putting out there into the universe. You mentioned the singing and gardening. In your own life and in your socials, you're often sharing sort of recipes and your piano playing and all that. You are sort of the Instagram best friend. You're such this incredible artist, and you have your own Etsy shop as well for your art. Can you talk about that?
I do. I just started it. Yeah, I've sort of followed the path that I think Dinah would have gone down as well. Yes, I have an Etsy shop. It's called Harvest Moon Heritage, and I design things. I decided I really enjoy making T-shirts and little baby clothes and bags, and so as an actor, it's surprised you have a lot of free time sometimes. So yeah, it's been really fun, and baking and finding all these other facets of myself has been really, really fun.
I hope you keep sharing all of that. In my research, I did get distracted by the Etsy shop and by my newborn a onesie. So thank you for your art.
Oh my gosh, thank you, and congratulations on
Oh,
your
thank
baby.
you. 5 weeks, very fresh.
Do you want me to handle the rest of this? You can go take a nap, or?
No, I've slept more this weekend than I have in
Oh,
months.
really? Did you leave your child behind?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I think. Oh God. So, Stephen, in your outside of the series life, but connected to Arrow somewhat, we've seen you have a feud with Stardust. Sure. Any potential opportunity of a return to the ring and a feud with the American Nightmare?
Oh man, no, I'm not really on the main event scene in WWE. We would like to. It's not confirmed yet, but I would guess that the second season of Heels is due out around the midpoint of the year, and going into the fourth season of Arrow, that's when I did my stuff with the WWE, and we saw a real uptick in terms of new eyeballs on the show across at live viewing and then Netflix and so on and so forth. So I would like to do something with WWE or AEW potentially around the launch of the second season. So that will probably entail getting into the ring in some way, shape, or form.
All right, something else to look forward to. So before we switch to questions in just a few moments, just to give you all a heads up, there's going to be 2 microphones. They're going to be turning on the lights momentarily. So if you have a question, you can go ahead and start lining up. We'll be switching over soon. But I want to sort of circle back to the beginning of Arrow and when you were all going through that process and auditioning and getting cast. Before you got that call, before you knew you were playing these roles, was there any sort of gut moment where you thought, this is mine? I know this character, this character is me. And conversely, was there any moment in the filming where you thought, this show's gonna be big, it's gonna be something?
I just came off of another show, and I'd been off the show for 2 weeks, and then Greg called me and was like, I was just doing Teen Wolf, and then Greg was like, hey, do you want to come on this new show? It just started airing. I think you guys were in. I started on the 15th episode, but I got the call around episode 8. And I was like, hell yeah, I want to come. And then three episodes turned into 6, and then I became full-time after that. But it was such a fun experience. Being in Vancouver, it's like a different thing. You know, there's always like photographers hiding that you never see them, and they're always getting everything on camera off of set. And I was not used to that, but it was just such a beautiful experience. So that's really, you know, with my casting, that's what happened.
I remember leaving the first audition, and I went home and I looked at myself in the mirror and I said out loud, if you don't book this job, you're just gonna quit acting, because if this, which I don't recommend if you were an actor to think that way, by the way, that was not a healthy thing. But I did say that to myself because you don't often have this experience where you just know something is yours and nothing would make sense if it wasn't. But that was my experience. And I said to myself, if you get a call back, like it's gonna be yours. And I did get a call back, and thank you. Yeah. So it just felt meant to be, and I didn't know who I was playing. I didn't know I was going to be Dinah Drake. They just said you're a vigilante, and until I basically showed up, I didn't know. But I just, yeah, it was a really incredible experience.
Same thing for me with Jules. I left my first audition and I called my manager and I was like, I think I just booked that. But that's not how that's supposed to work. It's like the first in a series of auditions. That was on a Monday or Tuesday, and a week later I was cast. It was announced. It was all that stuff. So again, it doesn't always work that way, but when it does, it's magical, and it just comes together very, very, very fast.
Were you the first or the last person they saw?
I was the first person in the room. First person in the room.
That's fantastic. Colton, you mentioned you were coming off another series, Teen Wolf. You just had the movie come out. What was it like returning to that role?
So weird. It was so, I mean, you know, that was like college for me, and I see them at least multiple times a week, and we're all still really close. And yeah, it would have been nice to have it be a series instead of the movie. We had to cram a lot in, but it was like we picked up where we left off. It was just such a fun experience, and yeah, it was so much fun.
All right. Yes. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and go to our first question. And when you ask your question, go ahead and share your name and tell us where you're from.
Hi there. So my name is Conrad, and I'm from Seattle, or Anacortes/Mount Lake Terrace. I'm graduating college in 2020. Honored to meet you guys. Juliana, I met you at Galaxy Comic-Con, and Stephen, thanks for the awesome hi, and nice to meet you, other person. Honored to meet you. Anyways, guys, definitely follow my Instagram, Conrad Bratz. I interview celebrities. I did one today, to be honest. But anyways, on to the question. My question to you is, looking back at this year, what is one thing you're hoping to change this year that you didn't get to do from last year?
I always try to focus on making sure that I'm enjoying my downtime. Does that make sense?
This year, I started writing. I wrote 2 pilots, and I decided I still want to act. I'm writing for myself as an actor, but I don't want to wait anymore for opportunity. I want to go and create it and do the roles that I really have always dreamed of doing, and sometimes the only way to do that is to make them. So I'm really excited about that change, and thank you.
I should be drinking more water, and I haven't changed that. But there's water in Red Bull. So, yeah, it doesn't really answer your question, but I set a lot of expectations for myself, and if I don't meet them, it happens. It's life.
I love that.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, my name's Terry. I'm from the Seattle area. If you did have a Red Bull or a bottle of water, you should tuck it under the chair like they did in Game of Thrones.
That was a mantra. That's a mantra. That is a mantra on 2 shows that are both on Arrow and on Heels.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talk about that effing Starbucks cup all the time.
Made it past the editors. So after 8 seasons, I would imagine that you have at least one episode where everything seemed to go wrong. And I'm curious to know what that is and how it went, and if you were able to get it together or if it was just a dumpster fire. Without naming names, of course.
No, in the first season, the 4th episode went wrong. They didn't like it. They liked the pilot. They loved the 2nd episode. They loved the 3rd episode. We filmed the 4th episode. We were filming the 5th. We were filming the 6th. And then we were filming the 4th again. That was brutal because that was when I had no idea who either one of you were at that point in time. And we went for 4 or 5 weeks of filming 6 days a week to make that back up. That was bad. And then, but I mean, at no point in time have I ever felt as though an episode is kind of going off the rails. We've had sequences that didn't really work. It was more so that over the course of a season, and with it being 23 episodes, there were certain episodes that were like, big episodes.
Phone it in.
Not phone it in, but like filler episodes. Like actually, like just not a ton happened.
Yeah.
Which is difficult to, and there's usually around like episode 10 was always a tough one. Because it's like,
All exposition, no action. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Colton. I'm from Portland, and I was just, my question is, what was your all-time favorite episode to shoot of the whole show?
There was one that I think when I finally find out that you are the Arrow, where we have to run from that big explosion, and they were like, oh, you might feel the explosion. You might feel it. There's like mats there. We're running away, a freaking silo or something. They were like, we're just gonna blow that freaking building up. It blew up so hard that it blew me past the thing. So Stephen's like jacked and like muscular, so like he was fine. I fly like 6 feet further, and I was like, did that really just happen? I had no idea that the G-force, I don't know, whatever the hell it is. So, that was memorable, but it was also fun because we had a lot of cool stuff to do. So.
Yeah, we filmed that scene, and the thing blows up behind us, but then they let the cameras keep rolling, and you see like fire in the background, and then you also see like a random tire come through the frame, just rolling through, and Roy's supposed to turn to Oliver because his hood's off and go, you're the guy, and I'm supposed to go like, yeah, that's right. And instead, because we were so jacked up from the explosion, I'm like, yeah, that's me.
I've never experienced anything like that.
They didn't use that coverage. They didn't use that coverage.
Yeah.
That was really fun. I really like shooting I mean, it sounds silly, but the pilot, and I suspect that like in a lot of ways, your first episode, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say my first episode.
I can't believe they let us do that.
I have 15 more takes, and I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
And you was your first episode?
It was my first episode. I don't know, just there's something, when it becomes real, there's just something that transforms inside of you. And Stephen was there on that first day. We were in like some kind of gigantic warehouse full of, I think it normally housed pigs. And it just stunk. And do you remember?
Yeah, it's where they hold the Pacific National Exhibition. So we were in the barns where they just like cleared out all the cows and stuff like that. 'Cause it's like October, November, and it's over. And I'm like, hey, Juliana, welcome to our show. It always smells like shit.
And again, I was so nervous that it was the best possible introduction to the show. I was like, oh, we're fine.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I like your name.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Annika from Vancouver, Washington. I was wondering if there was one storyline or character that you would have loved to explore more in the 8 seasons that you had.
It was always sad to lose, it was sad to lose Sarah, Katie Lotz's character. I mean, obviously she came back and, was the lead of Legends and all that stuff. But I don't know, that was in the second season, that was such a cool dynamic.
I would have liked to dive deeper into the Dinah Siren dynamic because I think Katie and I had such an interesting journey in terms of our characters being the same yet total opposites. And again, like in the spinoff, the idea was that, we really did deepen that relationship. So I always kind of wondered, like, I feel like it could have really been a great team that was formed between the two women.
This has probably not been talked about, and of course I'm gonna say it now because I feel it coming out. When Steve Aoki was like our DJ on the show, his sister was supposed to play Cheshire. And she was cast, but then they found out that she was pregnant. So I think they nixed it all together. And so they told me that, and then, yeah. So Devin was supposed to be on Arrow. Here I go, getting in trouble again.
Hot takes.
God.
Hot takes. Hot stories.
What are they going to do?
Well, they
Are
ended up,
they going to
Yeah.
they going to cancel
Show's
the
canceled.
show?
Yeah,
Show's
yeah, right.
canceled. It's Colton's fault.
yeah, they ended up making it a different character and bringing someone else in, but I know that was who she was going to play.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, my name's Joe. I'm from Des Moines, Iowa. That was actually my question, so I had to think of one really fast. So another one I might have is, if you guys could have played any other character than the characters that you did play, who would you have rather played?
Felicity.
Felicity?
Not because we'd be like making out all the time, but there are kids here. It's fine. Take it over. Your turn.
For a nerdy girl with glasses, Felicity was like the ultimate cool. I get you.
She was only supposed to be in one episode, and then she became like one of the leads. That's amazing.
Lois Lane.
Lois Lane?
I'm sorry. Do you have a problem with that?
I said a character in Arrow. Is Lois Lane in Arrow?
She was an Arrow, sure. Arrow. Let's see. I'd like to play Yao Fei.
Yao Fei.
Yep.
Prometheus.
Nice.
So all of you guys are opposite genders. So if you could, you'd play a whole completely different character. That's awesome.
Yao Fei is a man's man.
Well, that wasn't your first answer, though. All right, thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Hi.
Hello, I'm Jillian. I'm also from Vancouver, Washington. It's my sister. I was wondering if Arrow was still on today, what TV show that's also currently on would you have liked to have crossed over with?
Oh my God, what a great question.
Probably Ozark.
I can totally picture Oliver in the dystopian future of The Last of Us. Have you seen that show?
No, not yet.
Ooh.
It's fantastic.
It's really, 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 really good. Don't watch it before you go to bed. What an idiot I am. I had one of the worst night's sleeps of my entire life. You guys haven't seen it, so just know that stuff was coming out of people's mouths and Pedro Pascal was there. That was the only good part.
What about you, Colton? What TV show would you want to see a crossover with? And we were not restricted to the Arrowverse, so it's anything.
Oh gosh. Well, everyone from Teen Wolf was basically in the Arrowverse. So, yeah. Greg was like, "I'm gonna take you." Crap, I don't watch TV. I will say Storage Wars. Well, I watch that. That's if I watch TV, it's like that show, or I just love anything HGTV. So I think it'd be that you could fix a lot with the bow and arrow. I'm just saying.
It works though. Arrow
And we're strong.
and Storage Wars, I mean, they're both stories of redemption.
That's right.
Totally works. Thank you.
Love it or list it. Yeah.
Hi.
Test. Hey, Stephen, Colton, and Juliana. I'm Max from Seattle, and I have a comment followed by a question. My comment is, as previously said, the Arrowverse in the last couple of years has seen a decline, whether it be a steady conclusion or an outright cancellation. And my question in response to that is, do you think that was more because of the conclusion of Arrow, because it was the glue that held everything together, or do you think it was more the Warner Brothers prioritization of content or purge of content? And with that in mind, do you think that elements of Arrowverse can appear in potential future DC projects such as James Gunn's new DC universe?
Great questions. No, really. I think there was an element, and Stephen, you probably would be better to speak about this than me, but I think there was an element of choice in the ending of Arrow. Like, we weren't canceled, it was a choice. And for that, I think, I don't know why everything followed suit after that. I mean, very shortly after, like, there was the pandemic, and I'm sure that that affected things. Maybe the closing out of Arrow did impact, you know, what they wanted to do with these other shows in the Arrowverse, but I feel it's kind of ironic that we ended first, since it is the Arrowverse. But on the other hand, I think it sort of allowed everybody a graceful exit.
Yeah, I called our big boss in the midway point of season 6 and said that I'd like to be done. And we originally thought that would be after season 7, but he convinced me that it would be a good idea to do a truncated version of season 8, kind of like a final season, a farewell. And look, the club can't stay open forever. You know, like eventually it has to close down. And I wanted to make sure that we left before the house lights came on, and you're looking around at everyone, and all of a sudden you're like that. So I think that we left at a good time, but I think that us leaving inevitably starts to point people towards whatever the conclusion is going to be. So yeah, I think we left at a good time. And then, you know, on a going forward basis, you know, Colton, Juliana, and myself have built up good currency with DC fans and comic book fans and Arsenal fans and Canary fans and Arrow fans, respectively. So I think that, you know, going forward, of course, there's an opportunity to do something in the new DC universe, whatever they're doing.
Thank you, and Stephen, I look forward to seeing you on The Flash.
Thank you. It's a
Thank
good
you.
episode.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Orion. I live here in the Seattle area. I wasn't sure I was able to come up with the most fantastic question in these past 20 minutes, but I had the opportunity to stand here and I couldn't pass it up. So I guess looking back, is there anything in particular that sticks out being particularly physically or maybe even mentally challenging filming a scene or a stunt or an episode?
A lot. It's cold. Rainy. Yeah. Long hours.
Freezing cold leather.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really. I'm trying to. Those early flashback scenes, they were very challenging. I'm just sitting out there, like, not wearing any clothes. I'm in like shorts and a stupid shirt.
Snow.
Fighting in the snow. Yeah, just lots of stuff. But I mean, you know, I'm always if we have a really long day, I'm fine once we get on the B side of lunch. I'm good. But like 90 minutes before lunch, not good.
Remember when you had to stand in a vat of oatmeal for like 3 days with David? And the first day, it smelled like the most delicious like breakfast buffet. And by day 3, it just smelled like vomit. And like they were up to their waists for 3 days. It was awesome.
It was really, no, that was the only time, that was the only time that I threw down the gauntlet on set. I was like, guys, this is enough. This is enough. I'm going to barf, okay? And then David's going to barf. And then we're both going to barf on each other. You guys get one more take in this setup, and then you get 2 takes on the next setup, and we're done. And everyone was like, ha, ha, ha. And I'm like, ha, ha, what? It was awful. Do you remember that?
Oh my God. I was laughing the whole
I
time.
was like, oh, yeah, it smells like vomit.
And that was the day the crew learned the mantra, change out the oatmeal after day 1.
Oatmeal almost took out the arrow.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, my name is Mariah. I'm from Linwood, Washington, and my question is, if you could have interacted with any villain from any of the Arrowverse shows, which one would it be and why?
I don't have a lot of people on my list that I didn't interact with.
Right.
Can we also include villains from Storage Wars?
A lot. Like, don't try to find.
I can add it and say, which villain would you want to interact with more, if that helps?
Did you have someone in particular that you wanted Oliver to interact with more?
Not really.
Okay. Well, we did our job.
I mean, I really liked the dynamic between you and Damien Dark. That was pretty great.
I don't think it was a villain, but I just would have loved to have a scene with Bebo at some point. Such a cool, sometimes I got jealous of Legends because it was just so off the wall and that little fluffy thing was so, it would have never worked on our show.
I'm full up on villains. I'm full up. Have we seen General Zod on Superman and Lois yet?
I stopped watching it, but I think so.
Okay, well, him.
It's always more fun to work with the ones who aren't playing the villains. Yeah. But I loved working, it was trippy for me to work with Manu because I didn't know the switch happened. But he was so great to work with, and it also makes you better whenever you're working with someone like that. But
you want to know why? You remember when Oliver was looking petrified in fight scenes with him? You want to know why? Because I was petrified.
Yeah. Because he'd break the stuntmen's faces.
He ripped my wig off multiple times. True story. It's glued to my head.
God. Yeah. Oh, and I had to do my scenes. They always built a runway for me because I'm so much shorter than everyone else. And I had to stand on a freaking box while I was doing my intense fight scenes with them. And I'm like, so embarrassing. But yeah. So maybe, just more scenes with him, I guess. I can't think of anyone.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, I'm Elijah. I'm from Portland. And my friend Ethan wishes he could be here, but he's here in spirit. So this question's maybe kind of similar, but whatever. So if there was any superhero actor specifically playing their superhero, dead or alive, that your character could interact with, who would it be that you would want them to interact with?
I wouldn't turn down Christian Bale as Batman.
Catwoman. No, that too. Michelle Pfeiffer and Halle Berry. Yeah. And Zoe.
All of them.
Yeah.
Simultaneously.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my answer. Final answer.
Terrence Stamp. as General Zod. What do you want from me?
Own it, no.
Jules is like, oh, okay. You sure?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Stephen. I'm from Olympia, Washington. Stephen, first I want to thank you for your F Cancer campaign. That's really awesome. So kudos for that. Next, I wanted to just note that, I mean, you basically started a universe with hundreds of characters that are because of your success, villains, heroes, and everything. What advice would you have for James Gunn, who is basically starting from scratch at this point?
Call Greg Berlanti. That's it. That's it. After the first season of Arrow, Greg called me into his office and laid out precisely what they were going to do. He didn't. I don't think that he knew. There were things that he couldn't have known. Like he wouldn't have imagined that Supergirl would start on CBS and then become at the CW. But like the Flash, we have an idea for a show which became Legends. Like he laid all of that out. And I think that one of the best ways you can do it, I see a lot of announcements from about DC and about the DC extended universe and about what they're going to do with the movies. Do you know what I would prefer? Content. Like, I don't think anyone has ever gone to an IMAX to watch a press conference or to like read Twitter. It's like, great, awesome. I'm glad you guys have all of these plans. Shut up and go execute them.
There.
Yeah, call Greg.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi. I guess it's me now. Sorry. I'm Tom. I'm from Seattle. And I loved Arrow, but the thing that blew me away about it was this large interconnected universe, plot lines overlapping, and a lot of really fun fan service for people like me. So I'm curious, if you left Arrow, which show would you have wanted to be on? Which of the other Arrowverse shows would you have liked to be part of?
Legends, for sure. Yeah. It was so ridiculous. I mean, it's so funny. But yeah, I'd say Legends.
Same, Legends. Yeah. The cast is also great. It's just a super light, fun show.
Superman and Lois.
There's always time because they're still on the air.
Are they?
They
are.
Call Greg Berlanti.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the answer to everything.
They might have
Greg.
more to do.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you. Y'all, we have just a few minutes left, so we won't get to everyone's questions, but I do want to make sure we tell everyone that y'all are going to be doing the autographs and photos this weekend. So if we don't get to your question, that's a great opportunity to do that. Anything else y'all want to make sure we plug for you? I know, Colton, you have written a book, you've got heels, and Juliana is creating all of the things in the universe for us.
Oh.
All right, okay, well, there we go. Hi.
Hi, guys. My name is Heather. I am from Austin, Texas. I'm actually here with my husband. We love Arrow. I actually don't have an Arrow question, but I do have a question for Colton. I just thought this would be fun. So it is no secret that you're a big Taylor Swift fan.
Yes.
Okay, so I wanted to know, what's your favorite song and what's your favorite album era?
This is going to get me in so much trouble.
Okay, Colton, we have 4 minutes left, so.
No, I don't. It's so, because I tend to be fans of the ones that everyone's like, that song is crap. I'm like, no, like, I love, like, I will always say Delicate's my favorite T Swift song. And favorite era? I know one era that is not my favorite. They're all amazing. But I'd say my favorite era is probably, I don't know, I think at the time of my life that I was in, 1989 is kind of still my thing. But folklore, I I always just want to be like in the woods in the cardigan, like burning letters and shit. So like, that's So that really is close to my heart. But
We can burn some
yeah.
letters together in our cardigans.
I'm ready.
Those are great choices.
I
Thank
still
you.
wear that cardigan all the time too. Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
Seattle is
I
perfect.
buy all the merch. It's a whole thing. Yeah. But I love
thank you.
Taylor.
Did you get your Spotify like personalized like when they wrap up 2022 for you?
I don't know. I can't figure out how to use Spotify because I'm used to Apple Music. So mine would be like all K-pop and like J-pop and Taylor Swift. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
If you saw my Spotify rap from 2022, you'd be like, really? So it's called, yes, I have a 9-year-old in the car.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Taylor, if you're listening, we love you.
Hi,
Like she's God, you see? Like,
This is the specific message to Taylor. Hi, friend.
Hi, I'm CJ. I'm from Portland, Oregon. My question is, what is your favorite side character on any Arrowverse show?
freaking Austin Butler was on the show, which I forgot about.
What?
Austin Butler played Thea's new love interest, kind of.
He was an evil DJ.
Yeah. And we had so much fun. He's like one of the
Look at me.
nicest people, and now he's nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does Anatoly count as a side character? Yeah! Love Anatoly. What a great guy. David, that was always fun.
I feel like all the characters I'm thinking of were there like quite often, so I don't want to call them a side character. Like even Anatoly. I'll go with Anatoly too. I loved working with him. David was awesome.
Thank you. All right, we've got time for one more question. Hi.
Oh, I got lucky. Just quick comment. They need to cast you as General Zod because you look like you really want it, like or something like that.
Can you call Greg Berlanti?
I will. I have a lot of pull in that area, so I'll give it a call. But did you ever have a moment where the writers or whoever was in charge was like, your character did this, and you were like, bro, I don't want to do that. That doesn't even make sense. And you were mad at it, like in any way, like why did Oliver do this, or why did Roy do this, or anything like that?
Yeah, I had those interactions a lot, but not in that way. Not like I don't want to do this. Like it would be more, I can't do that.
Okay.
And they go, why? And I'd cite like 7 different examples from different episodes, and the writers would go, you're right. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, y'all, we are coming up on time. Thank you all so much for your presence. It was such a joy chatting with you. And thank you to our audience. Let's hear it for Stephen, Juliana, and Colton.
Love you guys. Thank you.
They're playing delicate. Thank you. Oh.